The gym is quiet, excitement has dissipated, and the fans, of course, have gone home. But the memories still linger. I'm John Chalesnik. I'll be your host as we recall one of the most exciting seasons in the history of Canton-Galva High School basketball, the 1992-93 season, a season to believe in. Canton-Galva came into the season somewhat of an unknown quantity. All-League center Mike Ruddle was a fixture in the pit, but fellow seniors Toby Krause, Kevin Kane, and Trenton Priebe would each be called upon to play expanded roles. In addition, untested sophomore Jerry Anderson and freshman Aaron Alvord were going to have to shoulder a considerable amount of the burden. The New Look Eagles tested their wings early in the season opener against conference favorite Inman. Coach Jack Kane saw it as a measuring stick for his team.
Going into the season, I thought we had a lot of question marks. Who was going to be our primary ball handler? Was it going to be Toby? He wasn't our point guard last year. We lost our backcourt. And I just didn't know if that was going to be a problem. You know, I knew we had the inside game. Could we handle the pressure? What impact was Aaron Alvord going to make? And we were going to play a tough opponent right out of the box.
The Eagles' plan was to pound the ball inside against the smaller Teutons. Canton-Galva went 6'6", 6'5", 6'3" across the front, while Inman had nobody taller than 6'3". Through the first 16 minutes, CG muscled its way even at 43. The third quarter was a draw as the Eagles maintained their intensity. They knew they had to take better care of the basketball and continue to pound away inside. Ruddle, who had finished the game with a career-high 35 points, dominated Danny Jansen and Nathan Ediger, and the Eagles started to hit from the outside. The intensity reached its peak as the team started the fourth quarter. The Teutons went to a zone to try to slow Ruddle, but Iron Mike continued his Chamberlain-like dominance. Eventually, though, the Teutons used their quickness to force several Canton-Galva turnovers and steal an 80-75 decision. The Eagles lost, but gave indications they would soon be flying high. Everyone knew that Ruddle would be the one to lead the Eagles' ascension. He was the most physical player in the league. He had the ability to create his own shots, something unique among a player his size. He was also a defensive intimidator, and he dominated the boards like he was sheriff of Basketball County. Iron Mike led the Eagles in scoring and rebounding on the season and would finish his career among the school's all-time leaders in both categories. Canton-Galva caught fire, taking 7 straight, including 79-41 win over Burton. Stingy defense led to unselfish offense and sparked the Eagles to a 47-7 second half. Ruddle and Kane led the way with 18 apiece, while the freshman Alvord chipped in 14 for a second straight game. Against Cheney, Canton-Galva proved that crisp ball movement wasn't just a passing fancy. The Eagles beat Cheney in the finals of the Canton-Galva preseason tournament, and at 6-1, CG believed it was on its way to something special. Canton-Galva rang in the new year with an important test against a good ball club. They traveled to Little River, came up big. House, who was starting to develop as the team's quarterback, dished out 7 assists. Ruddle scored 28, Trenton Preve added 20 points and 13 rebounds, and Albert chipped in 19 points, including the finish to this fast break. The Eagles won their 7th straight, 88-75. One of the unsung keys to the Eagles' rise was point guard Toby Krause. 6-foot senior relied on experience and court savvy. He led the Eagles with almost 6 assists per game. Krause was second in steals. He averaged 8 points per contest and earned honorable mention All-League honors.
There's a saying, what goes around comes around. January 12th, Canton-Galva was hoping that was the case as they traveled to Inman with a chance to avenge their only loss of the season. The Eagles were 7-1, and not only were they the surprise of the league, but they were also starting to turn some heads. Inman, meanwhile, had won 7 of their 9 ball games and were living up 100% to their lofty preseason expectations. A raucous, standing room-only crowd awaited the Eagles' arrival.
The Eagles played well early and trailed by just 2 at the half. Just like Game 1 again, the Teutons couldn't cage Ruddle, who finished with 32 points. Jerry Anderson had a solid game for the Birds with 13 points. However, a 20-10 run in the third quarter sparked Inman to the 84-72 victory. Jack Kane was concerned that second loss to the Teutons might cripple the Eagles' progress. He needn't have worried. Unfazed by the setback, CG went on another 7-game sizz, highlighted by an 81-63 thrashing of Quivira Heights in the finals of the Canton-Galva Invitational. First half was marked by what Kane calls the best 16 minutes of the season. CG finally captured the Invitational Championship, which had eluded Kane in his 9 years at the helm. An aggressive defense, keyed by Jerry Anderson, was a major factor behind the Eagles' flying start. The ball-hawking sophomore who led the team in steals was an expert in anticipation, using his sweeping wingspan to block the passing lanes. Anderson frequently swooped in on unsuspecting opponents, snaring passes like a bird of prey and converting them into easy points. Maybe just as important, Anderson was a tenacious competitor on both ends of the floor. At 13-2, Canton-Galva was beginning to earn statewide recognition. They had proven their ability to win, but hadn't yet passed the sort of test that sets champions apart from achievers. That changed on a cold February night at Gossel. Eagles trailed by 10 early in the fourth quarter before going to work. A combination of intense half and full court pressure limited the Blue Jays to just 8 points in the period and helped spark the Eagle offense. Canton-Galva led by 2 until this inside basket by Chad Lindeman tied it with 12 seconds left. However, the Eagles still had one more chance. Krause missed a jumper with 7 seconds. Prebe's follow wouldn't go, but Ruddle was fouled on the rebound. The unanimous All-League selection knocked down both free throws with 3 seconds remaining, and CG hung on for a dramatic 58-56 victory. Come from behind win was an illusion of things to come. Kane says overlooked, but no less important to the Eagles' flying start, for the contributions of Ruddle's front court running mates, Kevin Kane and Trenton Preve.
I think what Kevin provided for us was offensive balance. He could hit the 15-foot jump shot. He proved he could go to the hole. And when people were doubling down on Ruddle, it was Kevin that knocked down those jumpers from the curb zone. Trent was such a fierce competitor, and he was always in the right place at the right time. The ball just fell into his hand. He loved collisions. He had 3 or 4 of them during the season. And there he is at the right place at the right time. He's probably the best offensive rebounder I've ever coached. And that's why they call him the trash man.
Following the win at Gossel, the Eagles were grounded by Little River, being surprised at home 68-64 as Ruddle was held just 8 points. However, the Eagles, who never would lose 2 consecutive games, followed up with blowout wins on the road at Pretty Prairie, Central Christian, and El Saline, and a forfeit win over Chase. They finished up the regular season at 17-3.
One of the keys to the Eagles' success was the performance of the bench. Casey Flynn, Josh Heim, Josh Lancaster, Chad Reed, Scott Boucher, Drew Hett, and Brian Kasiska provided practice competition on a level with what the Eagles regulars saw on game day. Just as important, the vocal support and the enthusiasm of the bench during games was also invaluable.
The 2A sub-state at Salina Sacred Heart was generally considered to be one of the toughest in the state. In addition to Canton-Galva, the field included Heart of America regular season champion Little River, Inman, the team of course which had beat Canton-Galva 2 times during the regular season, and 3-time defending state champion Mound Ridge.
Canton-Galva drew El Saline in the first round. The Eagles had beaten the Cardinals easily a week before, but had their hands full with the rematch. Ruddle, who scored 22 in the first meeting, posted 19 points and 10 rebounds in the sequel. Alvord finished the game with 13. Among Alvord's contributions, some defensive wizardry. The Eagles survived 68-62. Next up, another shot at Inman.
Going into this matchup, Inman, because they'd won the previous 2 games, or Canton-Galva, because of the old axiom that it's difficult to beat a team 3 times in one season. The Eagles felt good going into the contest for the simple reason that they played Inman tough during the previous 2 ball games. As Coach Jack Kane said before this winner-take-all matchup, it just felt right.
Again, CG started the game getting the ball inside. Ruddle finished the first quarter with 6 points. Prieb had 4, and Anderson, unveiling a newfound offensive aggression, slashed the Teutons for a half dozen in the period as the Eagles went up by 5. CG continued strong in the second quarter and opened up a 9-point lead. What happened next shocked the capacity crowd and silenced Eagle fans. The Teutons, using their devastating full-court press, scored the next 19 points. However, a 3-point buzzer beater by Prieb from half court brought the Eagles back within 4. Kane later called it the shot that won the game. What transpired over the final 16 minutes is best described by KNGL radio commentator Rich Brumbaugh and his cliche-ridden partner Royal DeMarville.
We've done several games this year, Bud. I don't know if I've seen a game this year with the momentum swinging back and forth with such extremity from team to team. These 2 teams, it's a do-or-die game. It's sudden death. The loser is done for the season. Those seniors have played their last game. The winner goes on for at least one more. These 2 teams want it bad.
Prieb scored the Eagles' first 4 points in the third quarter. He had scored their last 9 in a row and knotted the game at 34. For the next 10 minutes, the game would seesaw before Inman took control late, led by 6 with 2 minutes left. The chips were down and the season was on the line when one of the Eagles' postseason heroes stepped forward. The perimeter marksmanship of Aaron Alvord was the perfect complement to the Eagles' physical inside play. Alvord made first-team All-League as a freshman despite coming off the bench. His explosive shooting, 48% from three-point range, prevented defenses from collapsing down low. Alvord's ability to penetrate also created shots for himself and his teammates. Against Inman, the 6'1 sharpshooter scored 9 of his 12 points in the fourth quarter, including 2 3-pointers and a layup to put the Eagles up 2 with 32 seconds remaining. CG still needed a steal by Krause and a free throw from Alvord to tuck the game away and nab an improbable 69-66 victory. Now only a game and a dynasty separated Canton-Galva from the state tournament. The Moundridge Wildcats were considered by many to be the best small school team in state history. The dynamic senior duo of Dwight Helms and J.C. Holloway had led the Cats to 3 consecutive 2A state titles. They rode a state record 58-game win streak into the sub-state final. The key player in the game was expected to be Ruddle, who would easily be the biggest, most physical player on the floor. Iron Mike was fighting a 102-degree temperature, but answered the bell and took center circle for the opening tip. Ruddle's illness seemed to affect all the Eagles and had Canton-Galva on the ropes. Moundridge scored the game's first 16 points before 2 Krause free throws put CG on the board late in the first quarter. CG started the second quarter on a defensive mission. Intense team defense and dominating rebound by Kane, Prieb, and Ruddle limited the explosive Wildcats to just 5 points in the period. Meanwhile, the Eagles' offense, keyed by Alvord, picked up. Canton-Galva was emotionally back in the ballgame and cut the margin to 23-17 at the midway point. The Eagles played well in the third quarter. Alvord continued to sizzle, hitting a couple of three-point shots. Prieb scored 4 points down low, and Krause and Kane picked up the slack left by Ruddle, who would foul out in the fourth quarter without scoring a point. Dwight Helms buried 3 three-pointers, but Canton-Galva outscored the Cats 14-12 in the period to cut the margin to 4 with 8 minutes to go. With Ruddle out of the game, Helms, one of the premier defensive players in the state, was free to guard Alvord. There would be no late-game heroics from the freshman on this night. Moundridge spread the floor, outscored the Eagles 17-7 in the period, and pulled away for a 52-38 victory. Even though Canton-Galva wasn't able to beat Moundridge, it was still an outstanding season for the Eagles. They finished at 19-4 and came within 1 win of the state tournament. They'd come up short in their quest for supremacy, but still found glory in their season to believe in.
Well, I see him on the TV, preaching about the promised lands. He tells me believing Jesus steals the money from my hands. Some say he was a good man, Lord, I think he's sinned. 22 years of mental tears, rise suicidal in on bed. The body losing war on a foreign shore to find his country didn't want him back. The police took his best friend in Saigon, our Lord took his wife, his kids, no regrets. In Anytime I don't remember, and a war he can't forget. He cried, forgive me for what I'd done there, 'cause I never meant the things I did. And give me something to believe